So all of a sudden, this story just becomes all mainstream out of nowhere. Coldplay, the band, their Jumbotron captures what exactly is what this story says. The internet has its theories. Okay, and when you just go over to Google, you put Coldplay, and you see the band right here. And you see the two people in question here. Right? So I asked Google, who are they? And this is what pops up. And that doesn't look like them right there, by the way. But it's Andy Byron, the married CEO of New York-based software development company, and it's called Astronomer. And the female, Kristen Cabot or Cabet, maybe I'll go with Cabot, I guess. The company's head of human resources. You see here on images. You see them right there. And it's like big deal, right? But I guess the dude is married. Okay. So he's got a wife. Her name, I guess, is Megan Kerrigan. Now these are characters where I think it's like I have two ways of thinking here. I mean, we know it's a fake world, right? But it might be a come up because even bad news is good news when you go viral, right? So it could be some kind of come up, some way to draw attention towards this company, Astronomer, or it could be that along with a little bit of mixture of the opposite, which maybe behind the scenes something they're not sharing. Maybe because this dude, I guess, stepped away from the company after this. So maybe somebody like knew they were there, and so somebody made this happen where they kind of get caught together, or that they kind of get exposed. So it's still a positive because you go viral, right? It's not just going to go viral for no reason. You know what I'm saying? There may have been other people there who were a part of corporations and stuff, right? But they say it was random that the kiss cam captured these two, and this is the character who called for the kiss cam, I guess. Singer, songwriter, musician, member of Coldplay, the front man, best known as for the British rock band Coldplay, Chris Martin. Right here, you see Chris Martin, right? And I'll read a paragraph or so here of the Associated Press article. So they say it started out as a routine bit of fun at a Coldplay concert. Lead singer Chris Martin asked the cameras to scan the crowd for his Jumbotron song. So they got a Jumbotron song. When he sings a few lines about the people the camera lands on, at a concert at Gillette Stadium, and this was in Massachusetts on Wednesday, a man wearing a birthday sash was up first. Two people in banana costumes were highlighted, but in between something else ensued. For several seconds, a couple was shown on the big screen. They were cuddling and smiling. His arms wrapped around her as she leaned back into him. When they saw themselves on the big screen, her jaw dropped, her hands flew to her face. She spun away from the camera, ducked out of the frame. And did she? Now, stuff like that happens and nobody cares, right? We've seen that where couples get embarrassed or they're on the kiss cam. The female refuses to kiss the guy, or maybe vice versa. Nobody cares, right? And nobody knows who the hell these people are, but they're blowing it up and they're making it a big deal, right? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy, Martin joked. But it didn't end there. The video went viral. It's not just going to go viral for no reason. Like, I'm never going to go viral. You understand? It has nothing to do with, oh, you just put the right content at the right time. That's not how it works, right? One thing I want to point out here before I go forward, shout out to you, Richard West. I hope you watched this one. I left a comment, but this is what I was referring to. Check this out. As you may have noticed if you're watching, look at this guy's name is Chris Martin, okay? And I know you have connections to this name Martin and everything that it is about, right? But you see Martin right there? Coldplay also has a member named Will right here. Percussionist. I don't know what that is. Drummer and percussionist, but a drummer, I guess. Look, his name's Will. If anybody out there is like, what are you talking about? I'm talking about like Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, right? Richard has these connections, okay? But let me go on with my point. My point being, you got Martin and Will, and this is Coldplay. But look, when you go to the Jumbotron calculator here and you put Coldplay, the band, look at that. You get 128, Richard. Right there. A very important number to you as well. So I'm here to try to expose this code. It goes beyond the celebrities. So this 128 is one of the numbers that follows Richard. And then you have Martin and you have Will. Okay. So besides that, now let's play a video here. And I have my own breakdown here on this, okay?
And then there's the video everyone is still talking about. That couple caught on kiss cam during a Coldplay concert outside Boston.
Turns out they were work colleagues, and now their company is responding.
Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
The two were identified as astronomer CEO Andy Byron and his HR chief, Kristen Cabot. The company has issued a statement saying Byron has tendered his resignation and that the search will begin for their next CEO. They said in part, quote, "Our leaders are expected to set the standard in both conduct and accountability, and recently that standard was not met."
So uncomfortable.
So it could be a plan to take him out for some reason, some behind the scenes reason. Right? They're like, everybody's still buzzing about it. Dude, nobody cares. No, I'm here to decode it. Nobody cares. You think people care? They're on their phones usually, like just scrolling TikTok. Everybody's buzzing about it. Nobody knows who they are. So it does reverse, or it's some kind of come up. Like there's no such thing as bad publicity, you know? I thought this was interesting. Coldplay's debut album, this incident was 6 days after the release of their debut album, the anniversary. It's called Parachutes. It released July 10th, 2000. Wow, they've been around for a while, huh? You see that? And this incident, Wednesday, July 16th, 6 days after that anniversary of the release of Coldplay's debut called Parachutes. What are the chances? Now, you see, everything, it's these patterns, these numbers, these letters, the language. Do you understand? So I guess it's time for it could be a little bit of a come up for Coldplay too, because people are talking about a medley. I can say people at least mess with Coldplay. You know what I'm saying? But it brings attention to Coldplay as well. Okay? So notice that, look at that album there. So it's called Parachutes, and that's the 25-year anniversary as well that just passed, and we're in the year 25. So you see 25 is going to hit with the year 2025, the algorithm pumps out a story, you know. And it could just be total algorithm as well, but you got to insert the characters, right? You got dude and the CEO. Oh, and I think I forgot to click on her tab. Nothing pops up with the characters, like as far as birthdays and that. So it's maybe after this. So they say this is the character right here. Kristen Cabot, and he's Andy Byron. Here she is right here. And again, you could put who is right. So he's the tech CEO of this company. And what did they say about her? They said she was like his what did they say? Like his assistant or a lower character with the company. I don't know. It said right over here. Right here, you see? Like, I can't even remember who she is, but everybody's buzzing about it. She's a chief police or chief people officer. What the hell's that? Chief people officer. Okay, and the company is Astronomer. And the company is, I guess, right here, Astronomer Inc. out of Ohio. American Data Operations Technology Company, specializing in AI, is what it looks like right there. You see? So there could be some more like symbolism. And yeah. So what, is there a few companies? Maybe there's a few companies called Astronomer. I don't know. I think it's the Ohio one though. I think it's this one right here. I think that's yeah, I think that's it right there with the AI. So that could be some more symbolism of some AI stories coming also. They are known for developing the Astro Data It's like, what the hell is this crap, right? Astro Data orchestration platform powered by Apache Airflow recently faced public attention due to this guy resigning. Okay, so those are those characters. Super. Oh yeah, everybody's buzzing, right? You see this is popping up everywhere. But look at the album cover for Parachutes, a close-up photograph of a yellow globe in a darkened room. And is that why this guy's a fan? Because an astronomer, and that's the company name, right? An astronomer is a scientist who studies celestial objects and phenomena such as planets, stars, galaxies and black holes to understand the universe. So I just thought that was an interesting connection there. And they didn't tell you that this was 6 days after the release anniversary of Coldplay's album. They did not do that, okay? So I think that's interesting that that company is called Astronomer, you know? And then you get this globe with the cover of Parachutes, the debut album of Coldplay. I thought that was pretty interesting. And look at this stuff that trends at the same time. I just went on the fly with the skills competition, 3-point contest. I may cover the All-Star game for the WNBA. But look, Natasha Cloud was in that on the fly breakdown I did. She won the skills competition. She's a member of the New York Liberty during the season. You know, it's All-Star. That's interesting, right? Because it's All-Star weekend for the WNBA. And look, an astronomer studies planets and stars and galaxies and black holes. Isn't that interesting? Stars? And this trends right at the All-Star weekend for the WNBA. Look at the character who won the skills competition. Her last name's Cloud, Natasha Cloud. And the guy who gets caught on the kiss cam, also a former chief operating officer and company president for the Cloud Communications company Fuse. Cloud. I just caught that star connection. And look, Cloud with the language is kind of like Coldplay. You see that? CLO. You don't get a U, but you get a D. You see that? I think that's interesting. But Natasha Cloud trending at the same time. You get Cloud Communications with Andy Byron. You get the Stars connection. And you get Parachutes with the Globe. Astronomer is the name of this company. And the definition of astronomer kind of connects with, you know, the galaxy, the globe, the world, stars, black holes, planets. You want to see something else cool? Let's look at Chris Martin, who called for this kiss cam. He's born in 77. Stars equals 77. Coldplay's got that 88 right there too, which I think we go over in a bit. But Trump does equal 88. Yeah, he's coming up. I'll just go ahead and spill those beans right there. Trump equals 88 like Coldplay. But look at this. Stars, when you spell it right, stars equals 77. And Chris Martin is born in 77, who called for this kiss cam. Isn't that amazing? That's awesome, isn't it? Back over here. Let's go back over here. Shout out to you decoders out there. It looks like it might be a rainy day out here in Arizona. Speaking of clouds. You see? Coldplay's got that 88. Trump's got the 88. Look at the article out of London. London. Like Donald Trump. London equals 88. London's got 29 and 25. Like Trump. Look at how this connects. London. You see that? Isn't that wild? I just showed you Chris Martin, born in 77, age 48. Astronomer equals 48 in the language. Donald Trump equals 48. Kristen Cabot equals 84, which is 48 reversed. Chief People Officer in the cuddle, kind of affectionate, huggy position. So can we call this guy kind of like her boss or like a higher up figure with the company? Is it like semi-equal? I don't know, but it's an affair supposedly, right? Everybody's buzzing over it. There's Arizona connections here too. You think about Arizona, Valley of the Sun, stars, planets, black holes, the sky, sun, clouds. Arizona also equals 84, and Arizona's the 48th state. Arizona's got A like astronomer as well. Isn't that wild? And this character who won the skills competition, I think she played for the Phoenix Mercury as well. Look at those tattoos. I think she played for the Phoenix Mercury as well, if I remember correctly from the breakdown I did. Right? So it's kind of wild, isn't it? You think about the NBA team in Phoenix, the Suns as well. But you see that 4884 connection. Even the company astronomer, look at the language. Astronomers got 138 and 60 like Donald Trump. Some may say, so what? I don't see no story with Trump and this guy. Dude, Trump's trending. This is trending. By the numbers. These stories hit by the numbers that connect. It's a code. You see that? That's the company that these two, or the dude stepped down. What about her? She looks different in different pictures too. This may be uh like a highly edited image. I don't know. But look at that 138 and 60 Donald Trump and astronomer right there. And that's the company that these two characters are or were synced up with. If you think, look at the 138. You still think it's a coincidence? Kristen Cabot equals 183. You see that? 183, 138, 84, 48. To show you how this connects to another trending story, the last video I dropped, Marcus Bagwell, leg amputated. Sympathy, supposedly. Marcus Bagwell equals 137 in the language. He had supposedly his car crash in 2020 that led to this amputation 5 years later. Supposedly that car crash, if you ask Google, it says August 16. That's a fact. That's what it says. In 2020, that day left 137 days in the year to go with Marcus Bagwell, 137. Our current decode, 137-day span from Chris Martin's birthday to this concert, which exposes the two characters on the Kiss Cam. 137 on the span, 137, 137. You see Chris Martin's birthday, March 2nd. That's the second day of the third month. Okay? Donald equals 23, which I don't think I put in here. Donald equals 23 to sync up with that. I hope I better still be recording. Look at those. That's a nice slide and everything. Okay? I am recording. Look at when I make this slide big. You like that slide I put together? There's that Coldplay debut album with this kind of globe planet connection with the word astronomer and this AI company. Look at that. Parachutes, the debut album of Coldplay. This is their concert. The Jumbotron, the Kiss Cam. Parachutes 112 in the language. Donald 112. Parachutes has 158. Donald John Trump has 185.
The executive at the center of a Kiss Cam controversy is stepping down after online speculation about the viral moment.
Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
That was the scene at a Coldplay concert in the Boston area on Wednesday. And it wasn't just singer Chris Martin trying to figure out why the couple tried to hide their faces when shown on the big screen. The internet also had its theories. The man was identified by online sleuths as astronomer CEO Andy Bryan. He hasn't publicly commented on the matter, but today the tech company said he resigned and the board accepted.
He resigned and the board accepted. Look at, you like that thumbnail? Thumbnail hits heavy, right? Ooh, do you get one eye symbolism right there? The stuff looks fake, right? I wonder if it's AI and they really weren't there. You know what I'm saying? Can you picture everybody in the crowd like where? Right? Where are they? They see them on the cam, they're looking around. Where? Right? And they just don't see them. Oh, they must be over there. Can you picture that? I can. Nobody knows who the hell they are until now. That's interesting how they put them in that circle too, which is kind of like that globe, right? See, that's interesting, huh? What do you think? Coldplay, even play like basketball, like, you play a game. That's interesting with that Natasha Cloud connection there. Stars, the sky, all stars, astronomer. Where's that wife at? Where did the wife go? Andy Byron. Okay, I'm starting to get familiar with the name. There's his wife, Megan Kerrigan. Is she just known as his wife? The wife has taken a significant step away from her husband. How the hell do they know? How the hell do they know? She takes a step away. How the hell do they know? Like she's on social media, like, oh, for screw my husband, I'm gonna step away. These are just stories, man, from her husband in the wake of the viral Coldplay kiss cam. Were they kissing or they just cuddling anyways? It's like, did I run her name? I don't know if I ran her name. I think I did. Kind of. There's probably like some kind of Nancy Kerrigan connection. For figure skater, there's probably a Nancy Kerrigan connection somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, right? So let's just run that wife's name. I can't remember if I did or not. I must have, because I don't really see anything there. Right? So this is blowing up. Look, you can see it up there at the top of the trending news. I might look at that Max Holloway story. And then they give us all of these paragraphs. There may be more within this. I'm not interested in really like the fake story. Like they put these stories out. Some people do get all caught up in them. People who typically watch like soap operas and stuff. They're like, I know it's fake, but I just like the story. Right? It's a little bit unsettling how easily we can be identified with biometrics, how our faces are online, how social media can track us, and how the internet has gone from being a place of interaction to a gigantic surveillance system. Blah, blah, blah. Right? We all hit accept on our phone. We hit accept we allow everything. This was at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. That makes me think of the New England Patriots. Look at that. Look at that. Gillette Stadium syncs up with the wife. 228. Just when I said I had nothing with that, there's the wife of the former like executive of astronomer. Look at that. Megan Kerrigan, 228 in the same cipher as Gillette Stadium. You know what's interesting when I think of the Patriots who play at Gillette? I think of Bob Kraft. And craft is kind of like aircraft, like spacecraft. You know what I'm saying? But it's just spelled with the K instead of a C, right? CEO of the Kraft Group, best known for owning the New England Patriots and Gillette Stadium. He owns Gillette Stadium. Look at that. Robert Kraft. And it's kind of like spacecraft. Look at that. As we're speaking of that album Parachutes with the globe, they're talking about planets, the company name Astronomer. Isn't that amazing? So I want to know if you like this decode. I'm just like, let me decode it, man, because it's everywhere. It's all over all the, the YouTubers I watch are all talking about it. They may be, some of those top guys that I watch on my subscriber list, the ones I'm subscribed to, some of those guys may be sellouts too, man. It's like, I don't know how you get, it's not tons of views, but it's enough views where it's like they'll be getting paid and stuff. I'm like, how do you be getting paid for really exposing anything? That's not how it works. You're not gonna, right? If you're chosen as a character, like, oh, people are finding out the truth so much. Here, we're gonna choose these certain characters that are on our team. We're going to show that they get some views. They're going to pop up in people's algorithm. Like, yeah, they're going to be monetized. Yeah. Come on. Like, that's the only way, dude. Like, how do you get monetized? Like, the stuff that I go deep on, I'm never going to be monetized. Do you understand? It's nothing to do with the quality. It's nothing to do with, oh, I don't decode good. It's none of that. I'm not a controlled character, man. I think these bigger YouTubers are related to major characters on the world stage. They may be like low tier family members. That's what I think. They be looking like some of them too. Anyways, Coldplay's Jumbotron captures what exactly the internet has its theories. I know we didn't look at Coldplay a whole bunch, but that Parachutes album, that hit big, right? Do they have an album coming out soon? Moon music. So they must be into that stuff, I guess, which syncs right up. Oh, but that was their last album. It says October 4, 2024. October 4, 2024. Damn, that's hitting with what Richard West just put out a video with Obama when he got married, and I think he said it was October 4. Oh, it says October 3, which is one day before that, which syncs up with that Diddy trial. But I think Richard brought up maybe he brought up October 4 as well. But I don't know. That's one day difference. Diddy trial date or sentencing date, October 3. Okay, so I think it's time for me to get out of here. So I hope you liked that breakdown. Coldplay's Jumbotron captures what exactly you saw the two characters. Was it Kristen Cabot and Andy Byron? You see the lead singer here, Chris Martin of Coldplay. They say the dude stepped down or resigned from the company. It's like, dude, look at this whole time. It took the whole time for me to barely get their names, but people are buzzing about it. The internet has its theories. Shout out to y'all. There's always more, but I'm going to leave it there. Peace.